Hello, race fans, and hello, race fans, and welcome to round 2 of the 2018 Three-Wide Racing League's Race King Cup Series playoffs here at Watkins Glen International, live on 3-Wide TV. I'm Tanner Sharp up in the booth, and alongside me is Mr. Justin Kolb, and back in the production truck is Mr. Carlos Acosta. Justin, welcome to Watkins Glen International. This racetrack is a very famed racetrack on the NASCAR schedule, one of the oldest, actually probably the oldest active road course on the NASCAR schedule since 1956, and it's got 7 turns here. And I know you've raced it with the league here itself in years past here at Watkins Glen. Tell me about your experiences at this racetrack.
Well, there was one win to my credit here at Watkins Glen. That was way back in the day when we were racing nationals, and I can definitely tell you nowadays with these big cup cars, this is definitely a track that has a lot of speed to it, but it's a track that you have to respect as well. I mean, overcooking one of these corners can really send you into disaster with all these corners kind of with a wall just ahead of it. So this is a track where you're definitely going to be carrying a whole lot of speed around the track, and like I said, that can lead to calamity, but if you can slow it down just a little bit and kind of take your time, for some of these guys who probably aren't as, well-versed with road courses, they can probably get out of here safely, and if they're lucky, a good points night.
Track position and keeping it on the racetrack itself, on the course itself, can lead to a good day. And of course, iRacing just had a build this past Tuesday, which is an update to the iRacing software and everything else surrounding iRacing content, which they just released the new NASCAR Monster Energy Camaro ZL1 this past week. So that's pretty awesome to add to the iRacing content, and every Chevrolet driver here tonight will be driving that, and we'll be driving that from here on out. So what a nice debut for that Camaro on a road course such as Watkins Glen International. Right now we're riding on board with Mr. Cameron Rich. Yep, Cameron Rich. We are riding on board, who surprisingly does not have a win to his credit in this playoff system yet, but I'm sure he's going to work really hard right now. As you see, he's really working that steering wheel, going through the bus stop there, and this is turn 5 right here, which is called a carousel. So Cameron's going to be a very busy driver here tonight, trying to lock himself into the next round. And speaking of the next round, let's go ahead and check over the points. I got a graph right here in front of me, but I'm sure we can probably bring it up on screen if possible. Peter Short won Milwaukee 2 weeks ago, and that means he will advance to the next round of the playoffs, which begins at Talladega Superspeedway. So realistically, Peter Short doesn't have to worry about Watkins Glen here tonight, or he doesn't even have to worry about Dover next week. But I tell you what, it's still a tight points battle near that cutoff line. Dylan Hickey, Chad Brown, and Levi Zielinski are below the cutoff line. Those drivers are going to have to work really hard to try to gain some valuable points if a win is out of their radar. Johnny Thomas is 6 points ahead of that cutoff line. He's still technically in danger despite still being in. And as well as Matt Hackathorn and possibly Sam Close you can throw in there as well. The reason why I say that is because the number of drivers here tonight that are starting tonight's race is over 20 drivers. So which means one bad day for those guys in the playoffs can result in the disaster where they're really going to have to fight really hard next week at Dover International Speedway there, Justin.
Absolutely, and we've already seen it with Levi, who had a subpar week last week at Milwaukee, and like you mentioned, he's down all the way to the bottom of the bracket. So realistically, you don't want to have a mistake early in these rounds, and it's just gonna take you out of the playoffs that much quicker, obviously. But really wanting to keep the cars on track and just get good results, and obviously for some of these guys, a road course is going to be the last place they want to go to in the playoffs. But tonight, I have to say, it's going to be especially important to keep your car on track, and because this track can really come up and bite you in a hurry, but to make sure to keep the car under you and just keep it safe. And like I said, for a lot of these guys, they should become an array with a good finish.
Well, let's see here. I kind of want to see who's around the racetrack here. Maybe we can take an onboard ride around this track, kind of show the viewers of Watkins Glen. Who we got here, production truck? Paul Ross. I do believe he is actually entering turn number 6 right here.
Yep.
So
and
Paul's... Yeah, go ahead there, Justin.
I was just going to say, this can be a really difficult corner because you're coming in at such a high rate of speed from that long straightaway, and it can be really difficult to hit your apex as it comes around to turn 7 to take, we'll see his first lap here.
Yep, here's Paul Ross's lap. He's going to come across the start-finish line right here, and the first corner is going to be turn 1. That's going to be a right-hander. This corner right here is a very popular place for a passing zone. You can really wash it out right there. A lot of pavement. Looks like you almost spin it out right there. Keeps it under control. Enters the S's of turn 2, turns 3, and turns 4. This part of the track is called the S's. Right now, he's in turn 3. Turn 4 is right here. Now, Justin, he's coming up on the bus stop, and after the bus stop is turn 5. This bus stop can be very hairy as well.
It absolutely can. Even if you miss your braking point by the slightest of margins, it can send you all the way out into the sand there. It's pretty difficult to hit, but when you hit it right, I must say, it gets you a lot of speed. Like you said, through the carousel here, just trying to ring it around the bottom. A little bit of runoff there at the exit. That was turn number 5, the carousel, and we take you into turn 6 here, where we were just talking about. Again, it can be really difficult to hit this corner right and not go off into the grass there, but he does it nicely. And this will be turn number 7, which will take him back onto the front straightaway here, and that's a lap around Watkins Glen.
Great stuff there, Justin. And right now we're going to have about 50, or actually we might see the 10-minute time. They'll usually have a driver's meeting to get the drivers in together. I don't know. Production truck, would it be a perfect time for a grid walk during this practice? All right, Justin, who do you want to talk to today?
Man, why don't we go down to the pilot performance group? They seem like a bunch of guys who like to have fun.
All right. Hey, pilot performance group guys, how you guys doing?
All right.
Hey, James Duke, we gonna get up towards the front there to challenge for Cameron Richmond guys. Well, we are doing the grid walk here right now, but Duke just kind of chuckled at that question there. But Chad Brown, is Chad around? Nope, Chad's not around. Nope. No. David, you around?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, how's the VR headset going?
Pretty good.
Can you buy me one?
Yeah, I'll go in halves with you.
Oh, okay. Well, Justin, unless you want to buy me one.
Well, I mean, David, I must say, just to get a quick thing in, I'm sure this is a track where VR headset's definitely going to pay off for you here.
Definitely on the road courses, being able to see around the apexes, it pays off big time.
How was it last night in the Truck Series? We know you ran that, and I think you got a pretty good result out of it.
Yeah, I ran second last night. Coda was a perfect track for the VR headset. You can see around those sharp hairpins. It's almost like a 180-degree turn, it seems like, but you can just turn your head and look right around it.
Yes, sir. All right. Well, best of luck tonight,
I will
Tanner.
say that I'll run better tonight than I did last night.
All right. Well,
that's some positive talk. All right, let's go ahead. Maybe talk to Rebel Racing here. Let's see how they're doing. Hey, grid walk here, guys. How you guys doing?
Pretty good.
Levi, what's the plan here tonight, man? Are we gonna wreck tonight?
We're gonna try not to.
Oh,
I mean, we're not that good at road courses, so that probably may happen.
Your lap
Man.
times say different.
I was gonna say you gave me a good challenge at Road America a couple years ago too.
Yeah.
I think Road America's like the one standard that I'm not.
Oh,
Well, we may have a
Well,
chance tonight. We're at
you
a
think-
666.
I gotta ask all you guys a question. Justin, you can page in on this as well. Should we be racing the iRacing's version of the Charlotte Roval today?
No,
Absolutely not.
no.
it's not prepared yet. I'd rather
No.
race Montreal right now in this car than do that.
Well, maybe next year we can all go to the Nürburgring.
Let's do it. Sign me up.
Give me a V8 supercar and I'll do it.
Justin, where do you want to go?
Man, I don't know, but there's a reason why you're not in charge of scheduling. Why don't we go down to Shake and Bake Motorsport?
All right. Oh, we got a drivers meeting. We
Excuse
can't
me.
interrupt the drivers. Okay.
We can.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's pretty funny right there. That's some good stuff. Yeah, I'm kind of glad nobody from Rebel Racing is in charge of scheduling. That's for sure.
I'm really glad that you're not in charge of scheduling.
Ouch. Well, I mean, hey, I mean,
I'm just saying,
Gotta
have you tried the Nürburgring around in a cup car?
I actually have not. I haven't even bought it.
Neither have I, but from what I've seen, it's not a fun time.
Oh boy. Well, the drivers are currently in a drivers meeting, going over all the rules in the 3-wide racing league as a whole itself. And so, realistically, here, Justin, if you're not good at a road course, and you're like, man, I don't know if I can compete with guys like Cameron Rich, Peter Short, and which, by the way, the Eisentech guys are really good at the road courses. They really got that team beefed up as far as the road courses are concerned. But if you can't keep up with them guys, and they're just outlapping you every single lap, or out timing you, what do you do? I mean, and you're a playoff contender driver. How do you want to just try to get a good finish out of this? Do you want to try to go for something, get a good finish? Or I mean, what do you want to do?
I think if, like you said, you're not too confident in road courses, and realistically, I don't know if there's any beating Cameron Rich and Peter Short, if we're being honest tonight, but I think if you're in a playoff position and maybe you're already good or you're maybe a little bit farther down, you want to be able to take your time, just get around the racetrack safely, make sure you keep it on course, and really no mistakes, I think, is going to have to be your main prerogative tonight. Just keeping it clean and keeping it safe.
Looks like the meeting has just concluded here. Pretty brief and short. Not a lot going on here tonight here at Watkins Glen. Now, you sometimes might see officials throw a caution flag if traffic gets really backed up and all that. But 9 out of 10 times, you're not going to see a caution flag be waving. So do you want to go ahead and get a good qualifying lap, or you just want to try to play it conservative?
That's a great question. Yeah, 5 minutes of qualifying. Man, I don't really know. I feel like you want to be up towards the front as best as you can, just to make sure you kind of keep out of trouble with maybe some of the other guys who were struggling a bit. Yeah, I think you're going to want to take a good qualifying, give it all you got. Obviously, in qualifying, any sort of off track is going to disqualify your lap, so maybe just take that time too. We know some guys do it. Just take that time to get even more practice down if maybe you're still not too confident.
You just said it right there. An off track, can just allow your qualifying time. What that means, folks, is the drivers out on the racetrack right now cannot touch any part of the grass areas or spin out the race car or make any kind of contact with the wall. Otherwise, if you do, iRacing can disallow your lap time. So you have to really keep the cup car on the racetrack itself and not hit the grass. It's a very difficult thing to do here on iRacing because this is the old pavement of Watkins Glen, the old version. We do not have the repaved version yet. I'm sure they'll come in sometime, #soon. But as of right now, you really got to try to keep that car right on the racetrack and just be careful if you want to try to get a good qualifying time out of it.
Absolutely, and I'm sure some of these guys are wishing they had the repaved version with how rough and unforgiving this track can be. But yeah, definitely, I think if you're not too confident tonight and you just want to get out of here live, just making sure that even if it's slower, just taking your time around this racetrack and just getting the best possible result out of it.
All right. Oh, by the way, I do believe we have some sponsors to give out here. Justin, I believe you got the track cams.
Yes, sir. And these track cams tonight, I must say, are spot on. They're great tonight, and of course, they're brought to you by Track Cams for Gourmet. You can find more information or download the pack at www.trackcams22.com or facebook.com/trackcams. And before I forget, if you want to join in on the racing, we don't have too many races left here this season, but if you want to get in on the racing and see if you like the 3-wide racing league and just want to try it out, for the remainder of the season, charters have been discounted a bit. For the RaceKings Cup Series, it's going to be $2.24 per event. And for the Nathan Young Designs Truck Series, it's going to be $1.67 per event or race, if you will. So yeah, if you want to try out the 3-wide racing league and see if you like it, definitely it's cheap for the remainder of the season and good place to just try it out.
And also, if you want to chit-chat with us here tonight, feel free to type into the chat box on YouTube here tonight. We will be checking the chat all nice long. And also, a big shout-out to one of the Pole Award sponsorship, Drive for Suicide Prevention, for the Pole Award here tonight.
Yes, sir. We'll be giving that out in about 8 minutes, that Pole Award.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's hard to go against the Eisentech guys because at the same time I wanted to pick who was going to go for the pole because realistically, Justin, I'm looking at lap times. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this is like the closest lap times I've ever seen in the 3-wide racing league. Realistically,
at a road course, definitely. And I was just gonna say, one driver who peaked up there at the top of the board here in practice, Luis Salmaso, he's put himself in between the two Eisentech guys in second, so he might be a guy that we have to keep on the lookout tonight.
Can't believe Levi Zielinski says, I'm not good at road courses here, but he's still sitting in the top 10. So, I mean, if he can keep that, he's going off track now, so I'm already cursing him. But, I mean, he's in the kitty litter back there. I think that's turn 6.
I think that's the... Was that? That might have been the bus stop, I'm not sure. I didn't get a great look at it. But...
Nope, that was the corner you talked about, turn 6. So, but yeah, it's hard to go against the Eisentech guys. Drivers like Cameron Rich, Peter Short. Peter Short just wrecking off turn 7 right now. But and also, I think the team tonight, just by basing off lap times, the team tonight that's a little bit off, that's a little unexpected is 3OG Racing. Sam Close, Paul Ross, besides Luis Salmaso, he's second. But, I mean, championship contenders-wise, who've been pretty consistent all season long, Sam Close and Paul Ross.
Yeah, surprisingly 9th and 10th on the board. And I know, I'm pretty sure Paul Ross is a pretty good road course racer himself. I believe he got a top 5 last time we were at a road course, which was Road America. So, obviously, practice times aren't always indicative of where these guys will race and, you know, where they'll finish. But a little surprising that both of those two drivers aren't higher up the board.
Well, actually, I can bring those last road course results up just here in a second here. Give me a brief moment. Kind of pulling up, like you said, Road America. Peter Short got on the pole, and he won the race, but he did not lead the most laps. Cameron Rich led the most laps there, but he finished second. Sam Close actually got third. Paul actually got 6th. So mainly it's drivers started in the top 10, finished in the top 10. But here's a kicker. We just talked about Luis Salmaso. He's second right now in practice. Back at Road America, started 16th, finished 8th. One of the biggest movers of the race.
Well, Tanner, as soon as we talked about him, Paul Ross just took himself from 10th place to 6th place. So a little improvement on his time there and a little bit higher on the board.
Just a little bit. I do believe this is practice still?
Yes, sir. Qualifying will be starting in 15 seconds, it appears.
75% fuel load for every single driver. It's not 100% of a fuel load like you would see in real-life NASCAR. So these guys will have to pit a little earlier than usual. Tonight's approximate fuel pit stops, 21 laps, approximate. Expect some drivers to come down for some tires.
Oh, absolutely. And I don't think we'll be taking any of those pit stops under caution unless something major happens. But that can be one difficult thing to do as well, getting on and off pit road. Obviously, the pit road exit going downhill a little bit in a bit of a sharp turn. Don't want to take it too hard, especially on colder tires. Like we'll see some of these guys do now as qualifying begins.
Probably asking yourself, why is it so dark here at Watkins Glen? Well, it's an overcast setting here, and everything's based off of real life weather. So there must be some rain in the Watkins Glen, New York area. And iRacing doesn't have rain, obviously, so it's set in an overcast setting. So the track temperature is relatively the coldest it can be, 65 degrees. So very cold, a lot of fresh grip out there. Paul Ross is actually out there on the racetrack. Who are we on board with right here? Cameron Rich. He came out of the S's, turn 4. It's going to be entering the bus stop right here. It's going to be a hard right and then a left.
And you see what he's doing right here. It looks like he's just taking this first warm-up lap slow, not abusing his tires, and his first lap, or his when he comes around to the start-finish line is probably when he's going to take his flyer.
Yeah, you don't want to burn up the tires right off the bat. The tire wear seems a little bit more significant here, Justin, on this new build that iRacing came out. I know for sure Talladega, like after a lap, I already lost 2% wear. It was crazy, but I don't know. That's just from I haven't played around with it too much to really get the full understanding of it. But it just seemed like the tires wear just a little bit more than usual. So here's Cameron Rich right now coming off turn number 7. He's going to be starting his qualification lap. Keep it on the racetrack. Don't touch the grass. Don't hit the wall. Don't spin out. If you can accomplish that, you will get a good qualifying lap in, at least.
Yes, and you see him kind of using the curbs to his advantage. What that really does in a cup car is it kind of sets the car a little bit better, helps it turn in, and for the most part, it's encouraged. Obviously, hit it too hard, it can really offset the car, and you can head into the guardrail there.
Cameron Rich actually going right into the bus stop here. Coming up right here. This is probably one of the toughest part to get a good qualifying lap in because that grass just kind of pops out at you. Using them rumble strips as you spoken of there, Justin, to his advantage just a little bit. Through this carousel right here of turn 5, you're just practically feathering the throttle a lot.
And for some, that might be the hardest corner all night long because you think you have it held straight, and then the car starts to drift up as you start to put more of the gas on it, and all of a sudden you're out towards the wall and taking the boot, which we're not going to be doing here tonight.
Fastest lap time is by Peter Short. That's Cameron's teammate with a 109.319 as you see on screen. And right now, Cameron Rich, he goes to second place to his teammate. Sam Close so far is going to start in third place. Now, if you look at that top 3, that top 3 is actually the finishing result of Road America. So pretty interesting. Keep that in mind, but anything can happen in this qualification session. I do believe it is 5 minutes for 2 laps, and it takes about a minute to get around this joint.
See Matt Hackthorne heading into the bus stop there.
Yeah, Hackathorn is one of the bubble drivers. Actually, no, he's not a bubble driver. He's in it, but he's got a little bit of a point gap. I'll have to double check what that was again here. That was Matt Hackathorn. He's 8th, 10 points ahead of the cutoff line. So if he has a bad day here and finishes practically almost dead last, he will lose a lot of points right there. So you can't realistically, you cannot afford a bad race. If you're Cameron Rich, sure you can afford a bad race because of the points. You lead a lot of that halfway point. We haven't talked about that yet here tonight there, Justin.
Yes, and yeah, basically this is probably the worst track you can go to in terms of not wanting to have a mistake because they're almost too easy at this track, as you mentioned. So yeah, with the points and how they are, and really a tight race towards the cutoff point there. For some of those guys like Dylan Hickey, Chad Brown, and Levi, especially for Levi, you can't afford another mistake here tonight.
No, yeah. If you're in the hole right now, you just need to play this race as conservative as possible. I think this is one of the greatest schedules that I've seen in 3-wide racing probably in a long, long time. You got Watkins Glen in the first round, and then when you go into the second round, you started off with Talladega and Martinsville's in that second round as well. So I mean, these first 2 rounds is very difficult. I think the first round's a little more easier than the second round, but I mean, either way, all these tracks are pretty, have their own challenges. Milwaukee Mile's already done. That's a flat track. Here we got a road course, and next week we go to Dover, Delaware at the Monster Mile, and that's no slouch either.
No, that can be an issue of its own at Dover. But it looks like qualifying's finished up and ready to grid here.
Yes, sir. Qualifying is done, and we have the new pace car on track. Is that how do you pronounce it?
I think it's the rough, and I think that's only out for road courses. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think we had it at Road America.
Yep, we did. I remember it. So with that being said, let's go ahead and take it to the grid. Cameron Rich, congratulations for getting the Drive for Suicide Prevention Pole Award. Congratulations, Cameron. Peter Short is going to start in 2nd place. Sam Close in 3rd. David Wilson, he's a rookie. He's going to start in 4th. And he's the guy that has the virtual reality headset that he's using here tonight. Paul Ross is going to start in 5th. Kevin Finn in 6th. Jordan Teal will start in 7th. Chuck Sweeting will start in 8th. That's going to be a sleeper pick right there, Chuck Sweeting. Nathan Velez will start in 9th. Luis Salmasso, I figured he would have a better qualification time, but he's going to have to settle for 10th there, Justin.
Yes, sir. Johnny Thomas going to start just outside the top 10 in 11th. Dylan Hickey will start 12th. Race Clark will start 13th. Mike Stevens in 14th. Richard Hines will start in the 15th position here tonight. Chad Brown, one of those guys on the bubble, outside looking in, will start 16th tonight. Richard Lafferty, 17th. Matt Hackthorne, 18th, the first driver to not take a time, as well as Levi Zielinski will start all the way back in 19th, so making his position a little worse to begin with here tonight. And James Duke will round out the top 20.
A few playoff drivers in the back of the pack in this evening's event. Corey Lindsay, 21st in blackjack position, but he's actually going to be in the officials box to help officiate the race. So realistically, it's going to be Tate Lytle in the blackjack position, and in 22nd and final position, Nick Miller. You only get one pace lap around this joint. We're going to go green next time by. We come to the start-finish line here. Cameron Rich on the pole. He's going to be on the inside, which is going to be the first right-hander to his advantage. Now, the starts of the race here at Watkins Glen, especially down turn 1, can be a little hairy because turn 1 is a popular passing zone. And here is turn 2, which we call the S's. It goes all the way to turn 4. It is not wise to go too wide here unless you're pacing like these guys are doing. But if you're racing, it is not wise to go too wide through here because it can end in disaster, which we have seen in real-life NASCAR races such as Kyle Busch and Brad Keselowski. Which allowed Marcos Ambrose to come play with them boys. So now we reach the end of turn number 4. Get this back stretch right here. That'll lead right down into the bus stop, which can be another corner of disaster. 22 drivers are going to take the green flag here tonight. So a bunch of playoff drivers starting a little bit towards the back, such as Chad Brown, Matt Hackthorne, and Levi Zielinski. We will have to keep an eye on those 3 drivers. Those 3 are practically the furthest back. The other driver, Dylan Hickey in 12th and Johnny Thomas 11th. So those are the drivers that start outside the top 10 that we will keep an eye on to see what kind of progress they're making towards their championship hopes. Justin, final thoughts?
Well, I've seen it a couple times where first lap, some of these guys will get 3 wide on the front straightaway and just try and get as many positions as they can before they head into turn 1. And I'm hoping for the playoff guys that some of these guys are a little smart and use their heads as they head in there. And realistically, we don't want to see a wreck lap 1, turn 1. So I think that's going to be the key word tonight, just patience and realistically just keeping the car on track as we exit turn 6 here and head into turn 7 to the front straightaway.
All right, race fans, if you got seatbelts in your chair, which I don't think you do, but buckle up, here we go. Round 2 of the 2018 3-Wide Racing RaceKings playoffs is underway.
That was a pretty clean start as we head into turn 1. Sam Close going to challenge for that 3rd spot alongside teammate Paul Ross.
Pretty clean in the back of the pack as well as Cameron Rich gets out front, single file through the S's for the very first time. There's almost some file. Oh, big trouble!
Jordan Teal into the wall back there. And I think that might have been it. Oh no, the 39 of David Wilson involved in that.
I'll have to see what happened here. I see at the corner of my eye.
Got the rumble strip a little bit there, knocked the car loose, and just got stuck in the fence there.
David Wilson, the Mr. VR guy. Did he make contact with Kevin Finn, or he just got loose?
Something happened to Jordan Teal there, but I assume that he just got loose, maybe under braking, just making sure he avoided the 39 there, and got the guardrail, but doesn't look like he got it too terrible bad. Well, he's got more left side than... Actually, that's where the contact would have occurred, so he's actually got a fair bit of damage there. Hopefully that's just nothing suspension-wise, or else it's going to be a very long night for that 33.
Cameron Rich leads the very first lap of the evening. That's going to be a bonus point to him. Look at Johnny Thomas trying to get underneath the number 33 of Jordan Teal. So far, nothing happens, but Johnny trying to play a little bit conservative here. He's above the cutoff line, but if this race goes south for him tonight, he could be below that cutoff line.
Absolutely, on the bubble. Only 6 points to the good on the 91 of Dylan Hickey, the car directly behind him at the moment.
Driver on the move right now is the number 4 of Luis Salmaso, pushing a little pressure right now on Chuck Sweeting as they go through the carousel of turn number 5. And looks like Salmaso, has some left front damage. Is that the true case? Yes, I'm seeing it.
And that's a good bit of left front damage.
Well, so far it's not affecting his performance on the track because he is pushing pressure on the number 26 of Chuck Sweeting. Chuck Sweeting is another playoff contender. To help identify the playoff contenders here tonight on screen, they will have a blue banner on their windshield and a blue spoiler.
As well as a blue splitter, so they got blue all around the race car.
Practically everybody's single file here at the moment. Actually, there's a little bit of a pass back there. Richard Hines just gave up position from Tate Lytle. Tate Lytle's been on a move since the drop of the green. He's started back in the pack. He's already moved himself up to 14th. We got like practically a 3-car battle here. I don't know if you're looking at the same thing I am, but I'm seeing Chuck Sweeting, Salmaso, and Teal pretty much nose to bumper.
I was looking at a smaller battle towards the back, which kind of settled down, and I believe one of our playoff guys were in that. 64 Chad Brown was involved in that, but I guess it's probably what you're going to see a lot of here tonight, just a lot of spread out racing and some guys farther back than others, but this track tests your patience quite a bit, and 51 laps around it. It's going to be a long night, and really going to have to work on making sure you keep the tires underneath you and not overheating them and definitely not sliding them too much through the corners here.
Wonder what happened to Mike Stevens. He looks like an SK modified running around this joint.
I don't know if he was involved, but I have to assume that a lot of people were involved in that incident through the S's. I saw a couple guys in the guardrail and really no huge incidents other than that. Obviously, there could be a few small checkups around the track, but
there was a big accident. We missed it. I apologize to all the race fans that we missed it. It was Mike Stevens got really hard on the brakes entering the bus stop and lost control of the race car. And the 44 of Hackathorn and Tate Lytle tried missing it. They missed Stevens, but Lytle got into the back of the 44, which sent the 44 around. But that was back on the very first lap of the race.
And just to give you an idea of really how fast this race should go tonight, we're already on lap 5, so should be a fairly quick race for these guys.
Man, check out the battle from Kevin Finn on back, from nose to tail. These guys are like in a group right here.
Surprisingly so, yeah.
That consists the number 14, Kevin Finn, Nathan Velez, Chuck Sweeting, Luis Salmaso, and Jordan Teal.
And not too far behind, there's a little bit of a smaller 3-car back, which is led by Johnny Thomas, currently in the 10th position. And Levi Zielinski, who didn't take a qualifying time, whether that was getting off track or not, moves all the way up into the 11th position. So he's moving his way up through the field.
Yes, sir. Tate Lytle and Levi Zielinski are so far the 2 biggest movers of the race right now. Luis Salmaso, I figured he'd be one of the biggest movers, but so far he is started 10th and still remains in 8th place. He has yet to get by Chuck Sweeting, even though he was pushing a little pressure on him, as looks like there's pressure from behind of Jordan Teal in the 33. I'm not really seeing any big battles on the racetrack except all this nose to tail from Kevin Finn all the way to Jordan Teal. That is from, where the heck is that from? 5th all the way to 9th.
And realistically, this might be a battle we see go on all night long, or at least until Chuck Sweeting got into the barrier there, entering the bus stop, and I think he got that barrier pretty good. He's got a good bit of left side damage there. I think he just
a little too hard on a brake.
Yeah, I think that's lockup, making sure he didn't run into the back of the 48, maybe thinking he was getting too hot into the corner.
That's exactly what happened to Mike Stevens, except Mike Stevens went head-on into the guardrail there and totally tore the nose off the car. But that is exactly the same situation, the same spot that Mike Stevens had a problem in.
Well, if it was lockup, then he's got to make sure of 2 things. One, the car is good in terms of suspension, and I don't think it'll matter too much air. We don't have too many long straightaways, but that, and also he didn't hurt the tires at all, flat spotting or getting them too hot.
We got a battle. Nathan Velez and Luis Salmaso are going at it here, man. I tell you what, Velez had no choice but to slam the door on Salmaso. That was because it was going through the S's there, which is not recommended as a passing zone. But I tell you what, Salmaso is there, and it looks like, man, right up to the back bumper of the 48 car. 48 car still hangs on solidly in the 6th position. Right ahead of him is a position that's for 5th.
And I'm sure he doesn't want to waste too much time, because the more time you spend behind these cars, the more the guys in front of you can get away, and it can come to a point where it's going to be too little too late to make up spots.
Just a little brief checkup on the 26 car. That incident that entered that bus stop cost him 2 positions on the racetrack. So, we got trouble. Levi Zielinski, not good.
But he doesn't
contender.
He doesn't hit anything, so minimizes damage there. But obviously, he's going to fall all the way back to 16th position. So definitely not where he wanted to be, but could have been a lot worse. Could have got into the wall and just lost it. In turn 7.
Didn't hit anything, and that's a great thing. And he's going down in this turn 7 right here, the final corner, too hard. Got it in the brake. It looks like he just got in there too hard, and the thing just stepped out.
I don't know if that was the same situation as the 26 with lockup. That almost just looked like, well, maybe, and I don't know.
The playoff hopes so far on Levi Zielinski.
The 5 was same close.
The 5!
Who was in 3rd place, has fallen all the way back to 12th. Apparently he's lost it in the bus stop.
He's by himself. Here's the replay. It looked like he
hit that bump, and I think offset the car enough to where he overcorrected and just lost the thing. Luckily, again, didn't hit anything, but he went from 3rd all the way back to 14th now.
Right there, he hits that rumble strip, and the car just got out of whack, loses it. Well, could
have been a lot worse.
Yeah, he's probably thankful nobody was around him.
And again, we're probably not going to see any cautions tonight. Now the 59 of Levi Zielinski stuck in the wall, so it's gone from bad to worse.
Oh no!
This is
Oh, this
Tanner,
time.
I mean, one mistake in race 1, I mean, you could probably recover, but 2 races in a row, I think it might be all for naught for Levi.
Well, let's see what happens right here. This is turn 6. The incident happens in turn 7. Down to turn 7.
Same
Gets
corner.
into the throttle. Yep, he got into the throttle this time, and the thing just stepped out,
Yeah.
hits the guardrail, and it looks like he's kind of stuck into the wall there. That's one of them iRacing things that sticks like a magnet.
And very unfortunate that that happened, but looks like the same situation, so it's a shame.
Levi Zielinski has brought it to the pits and mainly possibly done for the day.
And I believe it's going to be the 6th lap rule in effect here tonight. He's already gone down 1 lap, so see if he can't salvage anything out of it. And Jordan Teal's gone around in turn 1.
Jordan Teal around in turn number 1. Lots of racing, lots of action going around the speedway. What happened?
Could that have been a case of wheel hop? It almost looked like it from the view we had.
Oh, no, I think he came up too quick on Velez.
Definitely.
Or either Velez was kind of blocking the way of the racetrack just a little bit.
Either way, he was hard on him to make sure he didn't get into Nathan Velez. He's going to lose again to the bus stop, and this one's going to be a lot worse.
Oh, right into the tire barrier. That's in the bus stop. Check out Jordan Teal.
He was loose from the entry to the bus stop.
Yep. As soon as he looked like on entrance like that, he just lost. It looked like he wanted to go to the right. He tried correcting it, and it just went straight.
Well, 11 laps, or 10 laps in the book, and the 2 leaders are not too far apart from each other. That's 3rd place Paul Ross. He's 13 seconds back, just kind of minding his P's and Q's.
Yeah, 10 laps into the books already, and so far we've seen a lot of not just racing action, but incidents out there this evening, as the race leaders right now is only separated by 0.6 of a second. So Peter Short has gained a little bit back on his teammate, Cameron Rich. Paul Ross is a little behind. He's about almost 14 seconds behind, currently in 3rd place.
And Levi Zielinski is going out of pit road at the moment. Looks like 2 laps down. So, going to try and minimize damage.
Yeah, when he took the toll, usually it's about 2 minutes until you have to wait to get back out there on the racetrack. That is just a thing that here on iRacing, if you decide to tow your car to the pits. And the great thing about Watkins Glen is it's a 2.5 mile road course. And you can go...
Oh, and he lost it again in the S's. Oh, no. Right in front of the leaders, too. But luckily, they all avoid him. And that's... Man, he came up to the field so quick. And I don't know if he got the rumble strip a little bit too hard and just offset his car. But either way, I mean, at that position on the track, the car can get really out of shape in quite a hurry. And once again, stuck in the wall.
Man, you see this car just get stuck right in the wall.
Unfortunately for him, the 2nd time tonight.
3rd time, I think. Oh, daggone. Well, that's very unfortunate for Levi Zielinski, because...
That's a good battle for the lead right there.
There's a battle for the lead, and there's a battle for 4th, but the battle for the lead is head-on right now. Peter Short has caught his teammate, Cameron Rich, and it looks like he wants to look to the inside on his teammate. So far, he's going to tuck it right back in line, waiting for that opportunity.
Cameron got a little loose out of 6th, but he was able to hold on to it.
Onboard camera with Peter Short. Going through the S's. I mean, sometimes, I don't know about you, but sometimes drivers may actually race better when they're actually following somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if there's any looseness here. Now, here's the kicker. They got some lap traffic they're coming up on, and that is going to be Nick Miller and James Duke.
Yeah, that's where it could get really interesting. Can either close up a lead or open it up, depending on where you catch them.
I tell you what, if there's one corner of the racetrack Peter Short is better than Cameron Rich, it is definitely in the carousel of turn 5. He got to run right up on him, but he had nowhere to go with it.
And it looked like he went a little bit higher in the entry of the carousel and got that good run off as he got a little bit lower. And you can see the Nick Miller getting out of the way, letting the leaders by.
Matt Hackathorn has visited pit road. He was still on the lead lap. He is now exiting pit road here, so he is now a lap down. Nick Miller just went a lap down, and so did James Duke.
Wisely got out of the way before the S's. A very fast part of the racetrack. And now they're going to catch Mike Stevens, it appears.
Mike Stevens already has had a bad day. He's just trying to finish this thing out. A little bit of an update here on Kevin Finn and Luis Salmaso. Salmaso was not able to get by Kevin Finn, but Nathan Velez has actually caught up to Salmaso. So, but nothing happening side by side yet between those three drivers, as the race lead is still only separated by 0.4 of a second. Actually, we might have a battle for the lead right now because he's right to that back bumper.
Sure is. We've seen Cameron get a little bit loose out of this corner.
Now, just ahead of Cameron Rich is Chad Brown, another playoff contender. He's going to let the leaders go.
Oh, no, James Duke spun it around. Oh, hard into the pit wall there. He'll get it going.
Oh, man, who was the guy that was just on the inside that just missed that? That was Nick Miller.
Loose out of 7.
Oh, man, we might have to have an onboard of Nick there.
Oh, Peter Short a little loose into the bus stop, looking at Nick Miller.
Onboard camera right here. Duke's just right ahead in the orange car. Hold on just a second.
Cameron Rich getting a little loose in the carousel. Loses the lead to Peter Short, but more importantly hangs onto that race car, and it's looking like the handling is sputting more of its head as we get later into the run here.
I knew that 22 car of Peter Short, man. He was better than Cameron Rich.
Wow.
Wow. Man,
just hit that rumble strip all wrong at the exit of the bus stop there.
Man, I did say at the top of the show, Cameron's going to be doing a lot of work today. that car got mad.
It sure did, and what a job he did hanging on to it. That could have gotten really bad really quickly.
Oh, man, yeah. Wow. And the crazy thing is, you don't want to go down on your teammate like that, and he's still fighting the car during that process.
And it definitely looked like Peter Short kind of thought twice before he dove onto the inside of Cameron, who was still struggling to hold on to it. But
all right.
Tanner, I think we saw this a little bit at Road America, where Cameron Rich was having a little bit more handling problems later into the run than Peter was. Peter was able to manage it a little better, and it's looked like it's showing a little bit more here at Watkins Glen.
I think Cameron's driving a little harder than his teammate Peter Short. And that's just a result of that right there. I mean, Peter really isn't really kind of driving it that hard, really. He actually was really patient behind Cameron.
And Cameron just about blew turn 6 there. Well, we are closing in a little bit on our fuel range here.
Well, I can tell you one thing. One driver did visit pit road under the green flag pit stops, and that was Matt Hackathorn. Hackathorn currently... Where's Hackathorn even at? Chad Brown hitting pit road. Sam close to the pits, I think, right? No, he's not. Sorry, Samaso's to the pits. I apologize. I don't know why my live timing and scoring is kind of blinking back in and out like crazy. Oh, Peter Short just spun! He's still spinning! Trouble for the race leader, Peter Short! That was in the bus stop!
Well, it bites both of them tonight, it appears.
Yeah, they disappeared on my end, too. I don't know what the cause is that. That's why I was saying live timing and scoring was going nuts for me. Everybody kind of disappeared for me just for a little bit. Don't know what the situation is there. But nonetheless, Cameron Rich is on pit road.
As well as Peter Short.
Well, that's a good thing for both drivers.
Yeah. I don't know. That was probably more of a.
Paul Ross to pit road, who's currently in third. Kevin
This
Finn
pit's
to the pits. Nathan Velez to the pits. Chuck Sweeting to the pits.
Cameron overshot his pit
Cameron
box.
overshot it. Peter Short overshot it just a little
Oh my goodness.
bit. Holy moly, a lot of activity going on here at Watkins Glen International.
And you know what? I think we kind of saw this coming a little bit, or at least I thought I did. With the leaders coming, it kind of brought everybody else to pit road, but little early in terms of fuel. This was probably more for tires and handling rather than fuel.
Short in trouble.
Hold on to it.
And it's now, and that is a black flag for Peter Short. The reason why is because you have to exit pit road a certain way. There is a yellow line, and if you go above that yellow line or you get out of that box, that would be a black flag. We would have to keep an eye on that. Oh, man. Well, Isentech boys are really putting on a clinic today.
Yeah.
So during that pit stop time frame there, that actually hurt Cameron Rich more than Peter Short. But Peter Short had that pit exit miscue. So we'll have to see if actually officially Peter Short actually got a black flag because out of it. So he's coming around turn 7 right now. Let's see if he visits pit road. No, he does not. So we'll keep an update on that as it goes on. Paul Ross did make a pit road stop. So did Kevin Finn, Nathan Velez, Chuck Sweeting as well. Sweeting's actually battling with the number 83 right now, Johnny Thomas, for position. That would be for position number 9, the 9th position. Oh man, what a topsy-turvy of a race this has become. The only driver that has yet to, 2 drivers that have yet to visit pit road here this evening. 3rd place driver, Richard Hines, and the other driver, James Duke, who's currently in 14th. Tate Lytle is now on pit road. This will be his second stop. Sam Close, 10th place now after a spin. He's just trying to fight back. Oh, penalty to the number 26 car, Chuck Sweeting. The officials box just say he went through too many pit stalls. It is a black flag. He's being ordered to come down pit road. So black flag to the 26 of Chuck Sweeting. Well, as long as he ain't racing production truck.
Yeah, unfortunately, he's Levi Zielinski out of the race here tonight. Too many laps down to continue. Why don't we talk to him?
All right, I can try to. All right, Levi Zielinski, do you got a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy.
Unfortunately, Watkins Glen and your championship hopes went from bad to worse, and it's put you in a position now to where you need a must-win at Dover next week. Tell me about the incidents here tonight, because there's more than one.
Basically, the first one just slowed up for Johnny. Got too deep into the last corner. Didn't want to hit Johnny, so kind of slammed on my brakes. Got the car upset. So unfortunately, that's all that happened, and just spun it around. Kind of same thing, trying to get back some positions, trying to get caught up too fast, and spun it out again, and got rubber banded against the wall. I don't know what's up with the new build, but it seems like rubber banding against the wall is something that's going to happen with this new build. It wouldn't get off.
Yeah, it seems like that too, because we documented that when you went into the S's there, as we see on camera with Luis Salmasso, and just ahead of him, I do believe that's Paul Ross. But nonetheless there, Levi, it looked like the handling in this car, despite the overcast settling, it seems like it's a real handful. Talk to me about the handling.
Yeah, it is. Real loose off the corners, and the problem is if it snaps loose, it's hard to hold, so I'm surprised Cam was able to hold it after almost messing up there in S's, because it's definitely really hard once it starts going around to get it to stay under control.
Justin, do you have anything for Levi?
Well, like you said, unfortunately, took another hit in the playoffs. Looking forward to Dover. I guess it's kind of looking like a must-win over there.
Yeah, I guess so. It's gonna suck. This is not our year, I guess. We'll just put it that way. Unfortunately, it kind of sucks that it's going out like this in our last year, but oh well.
Yeah, definitely a shame. Well, we wish you the best of luck at Dover, and yeah, it looks like it's unable to continue here tonight.
Yep. Thank you, guys.
That was Levi Zielinski, who must walk into the Dover race next week for round 3 in a must-win situation. 12 laps down for Levi Zielinski. Very unfortunate there, right there, but it all goes on. But he did not have a. I don't want to say he had a mediocre season. He had a decent season. He got a win in a while, you know, and I mean, yeah, he's still a pretty good driver under my radar.
Yeah, like you said, unfortunately, just having pretty bad luck. He's not a bad driver. He got the win at Bristol, and he's been pretty consistent from what I've seen in a few other leagues. Just hasn't quite gotten the luck together for this 3-wide playoffs here. I guess getting cold at the wrong time.
Absolutely. Well, the leaders right now is Cameron Rich. He's got a lead over Peter Short by 2.5 seconds. So realistically, their miscues haven't really lost them the race lead. They got a pretty big gap over third place Paul Ross. And how about this guy? He is on the move. He's trying to hunt down his teammate, Paul. That's Luis Salmasso, who's in 4th place.
Well, second in practice, and despite the heavy left side damage, running up there in the top 5.
Well, certainly, and you got Kevin Finn in there in the top 5 as well, who's been pretty quiet all night long. Driver shout out tonight to me just a little bit here. He's been quiet. He's pushing. Actually, he's not passing for position. He's through the S's right now. Dylan Hickey started 12th and currently in 7th and has kept the car nice and clean so far.
Definitely what he needed. 6 points out of the cutoff mark coming into tonight, and like you said, just like I said, keeping it smooth, steady, and just kind of run your own race and realistically just keep it clean the best you can.
I do believe the 25th lap, if I'm not mistaken, is going to be the halfway portion of the race. That's really important because the top 10 drivers receive bonus points from Cameron Rich if he wins it at the halfway point, which we do not throw a caution flag. We continue to race, but Cameron Rich would get 10 points. That's pretty good for him. Peter Short would get 9. Paul Ross we get 8, and so forth, all the way down to 10th place, which is worth 1 point.
I'll tell you what, like you said, Luis Salmasso trying to...
Oh, was that Peter Short? Okay, never mind. That camera angle right there got me all up in our funnel right there.
Did me too. Luis Salmasso is definitely running down team leader Paul Ross. He's trying to get that extra point before we take the halfway mark here. Slowly closing in on the 18.
Slowly but surely, that machine is all beating and banging, but it's still going. That's for sure.
Looks like it's still turning despite the heavy left front damage.
Matt Hackthorne down pit road right now. He was on the lead lap. He has actually just went the lap down. On board with Paul Ross. Come back at Salmasso.
Matt Hackthorne taking quite a bit of time on pit road. I think probably repairing some damage and not in a position that he'd want to be in, I'm sure. Only 10 laps of the good.
We might have a battle for the lead soon because Peter Short has gained significant time, as we have the onboard right here, as you see, has gained significant time on his teammate, Cameron Rich. Yeah, let's go ahead and compare the lap times here because both drivers are heading down into turn number 6 here. Let's see who's had the better lap time. They're going to be coming off turn number 7 and to the start-finish line. So Cameron Rich, he's going to post a 109.438 and a 109.502 for Peter Short. So actually Cameron Rich was quicker that lap. I'm getting a report too that Peter Short was actually a second faster the lap prior to this. So
I would assume that Cameron made a mistake at one point, and that's one thing that Cameron, at this point, with a teammate that fast behind him, is going to have to minimize his mistakes, because we've already seen a few, well, out of both of them tonight, but I feel like Cameron Rich is more prone to making those mistakes, unfortunately.
well, guess what? The top 10 drivers just got their bonus points because we're on lap 26 right now. So Cameron Rich got 10 bonus points for that, all the way down to 10th place, which officially goes to Richard Hines with 1 bonus point. Johnny Thomas actually got 2 of them. 3 points goes to Sam Close. 4 points goes to Dylan Hickey. 5 points goes to Nathan Velez. 6 points goes to Kevin Finn. Salmasso got 7. 8 points goes to Paul Ross. And obviously the top 2 cars with 9 and 10.
Oh, okay, that was Chuck Sweeting who overshot turn 1 there, right in front of the leaders.
Sweeting is a lap down, but he did have an accident not too long ago. We actually totally missed that. He's actually missing a hood.
Yeah. Oh, no, he is missing a hood.
Yeah, he spun out off of turn 6. Just got it on my end here.
That's pretty strange, missing just the hood.
Yep.
I got to say, that's a new one in iRacing.
Oh, don't worry. I'm sure they'll be... I think they got a new damage model coming out to where debris is going to be flying all over the place.
Oh, good.
Just imagine, folks, if, and all you iRacing fans, or even if you're an iRacer yourself, imagine if iRacing had brake failures.
Well,
we got a battle for the lead heating up, though.
I'll tell you, if there were brake failures, there'd be a lot less people finishing here tonight, I'd have to say.
Oh, yeah. I bet you those rollers are going to be glowing red hot.
Oh, they're already glowing
right
on Sam Close. Or, excuse me, Cameron Rich. Been seeing that all night.
Peter Short's brakes were glowing pretty good there, but on iRacing there isn't any brake failures, at least not yet. So if any iRacing officials actually watching this broadcast and we're giving you ideas, I apologize.
Well, the cameras were on Peter Short, but realistically, I've kind of been looking at Cameron Rich all night, and those rotors have been glowing quite a few times as they lap past Richard Hines. And that will put, I believe, 9 cars on the lead lap.
How many do we have at Road America? Wasn't it 9?
I thought it was a little less than that, but I don't know. I'm sure you can quickly look that up. Need be.
Yeah. I mean, this race is practically kind of turning out like Road America. I mean, you got Cameron Rich and Peter Short up there, but I'm just curious, can Cameron close the deal, just get that win, and not worry about Dover? I mean, realistically, points-wise, he doesn't have to worry about them.
Yeah.
Relatively the same lap times have been posted by Cameron Rich and Peter Short. Peter Short can be fast 1 lap, and then the next lap, Cameron Rich will step it up. It's been going back and forth the last at least like 3 laps.
Yeah. I think the camera heard it too, Cam and Rich squealing the tires into the bus stop. Just gonna take a little look through the field here and take a look at what's happening.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe we should do like a go through the field. Maybe I could take a driver, and if you want to take a driver, at least from 1st through 10th, if you want to do that, because I'm not seeing any significant battles going on right now. Maybe with the exception of Nathan Velez and Kevin Finn, which isn't side by side. But let's go back up towards the front here. I'll go ahead and start off with Cameron Rich. What can I say about Cameron? He started on the pole here tonight, and he's still up towards the front. Had a couple of miscues, but it hasn't taken him out of the race lead just yet. But these drivers have another pit stop on a scheduled pit stop coming up soon. So Cameron Rich, the only driver he's really feeling the pressure of here tonight, is his teammate Peter Short. To you, Justin.
Yes, sir. And Peter, just about as fast as Cameron Rich, possibly a little bit more consistent than the driver of the 17, but he's had his fair share of issues here tonight. Like we said, running second, and that's basically been the top two show all night, Peter and Cameron.
Paul Ross, currently in third place, has had a very quiet night here tonight. I'm not seeing any kind of damage on that number 18 ZL1 Camaro. But, I mean, either way, I'm sure, he wasn't really confident in trying to beat the Eisentech boys, but he still has to be very proud with a solid third place at the moment. And after starting fifth. So far it's been a good day for Paul Ross. And right behind him is a teammate that's catching him, Justin.
Yes, sir. Despite the left side damage, Luis Almaso currently running fourth and has been slowly chasing down teammate Paul Ross just ahead of him. Started pretty deep in the field and worked his way all the way up into the top 5 in fourth position, and looking like it's going to be, despite the damage, a pretty solid day today if he can keep it clean to the end.
Kevin Finn, one of the most quiet drivers within the top 10. Very clean car on that Crown Royal Ford. He's feeling the pressure right now from behind of Nathan Velez, who's had a very solid day as well, but we'll get to Nathan here in a second. Kevin Finn is a playoff driver, very solid day here today. If he can come out with a top 5 finish here today, he should be able to make it into the second round with no problem at all. If he gets by Dover, which I assume Kevin usually does, he's probably one of the cleanest drivers out there. Not a scratch on that number 14 Crown Royal Ford there, Justin.
Yes, sir, and the highest running non-playoff driver at the moment, Nathan Velez, as he's going to get a little bit closer to the driver in front, Kevin Finn. Nathan's been kind of battling drivers all night, it seemed like, and running a clean race, running a smooth race, just outside the top 5 in 6th, and looking like he's going to put a pretty solid night together as well.
Very much like Nathan Velez, Dylan Hickey, who is a rookie in the 3Y Racing League RaceKings Cup Series, as he's about to be overtaken by the number 5 of Samuel Close. Dylan Hickey started 12th. He just lost 7th place to Sam, so now he's backed up to 8th place at the moment. And Dylan, if he can come out here with a good solid finish, he should be okay for Dover as he makes turn. Oh, he's about to hit the wall.
Oh.
No, he did not hit it, but man, he just slowed it down just enough, but that actually saved his race. That kind of driving right there is just playing consistently, trying to get through Watkins Glen and go ahead and race at Dover. So far, Dylan Hickey having a good day at the Glen. And Justin, I do believe you got a little bit of talk about Sam Close.
Yes, sir, and was running third earlier in the race. Unfortunately, made a small mistake. I believe it was through the bus stop, and unfortunately went from third all the way back to 14th. But what the rebound it has been. Made up about half those positions up to 7th at the moment. And currently, like you said, just got past Dylan Hickey. And not sure if he'll make any up or make any other spots up, maybe when we get to pit stops, but running a smooth race other than the one mistake he had earlier.
A little bit of an update before I talk about the next driver. Nathan Velez did pass Kevin Finn for 5th place. So nice solid pass right there. How about Johnny Thomas? Very quiet night for him. Very conservative night for him, despite being ahead of the cutoff line by 10 points. John Thomas so far currently running in the 9th position. I think he's just trying to get out of here with a good solid finish and then worry about Dover. And he gets a little roost right there after clipping the grass area. So a little bit of a heart-pounding moment there, even if it was just a little bit of a clip. But he remains the last driver on the lead lap. So John Thomas currently in the 9th position.
And just outside the top 10 is just inside the top 10 is Chuck Sweeting. First car a lap down and missing a hood and quite a bit of damage. Caught the barrier there a little earlier in the race and might have hurt the car a little bit, but 30 points to the good coming into tonight and running solidly in the top 10 at the moment. I'm sure he'd like to be a little higher, but I'm sure he just wants to come away at this point with the top 10 as Peter Short on pit road.
All right, Peter Short is on pit road. A much better pit stop this time around for Peter Short in the number 22. Last time he overshot the pit box. This time he hits the marks just right. Paul Ross as well hits pit road. He's losing positions on track, but he's hitting pit road right now. And we got another driver hitting the pits as well. That's his teammate, Sam Close. This should mark the final pit stop of the night.
Yes. Yes, it looked like most of them set it up to a 3-stop race, and like you said, it should be the final one of the night.
Cameron Rich is actually coming off of turn 7 here. I want to see if Cameron's going to make a pit stop. He most certainly will.
I was going to say, I didn't think he'd want to stay out too much longer, seeing that his teammate came in a lap before. Because at that point, you're just losing more time.
All in all, Peter Short is right now, he's already out there on the racetrack. Cameron Rich is now going down pit road. There's another driver on pit road. That's the 64 of Chad Brown. Did I hear the 26 was on pit road? Yes, sir. That's Chad Brown.
And looks like Luis Almasa will bring it down pit road as well from the 2nd position.
It is a much cleaner pit stop this time around for Eisentech Enterprise. Luis Almasa entering the pits. Peter Short. Yeah.
Wow.
He pitted a lap earlier.
Yep. And that kind of shows you a little bit of the advantage he got. He's actually stuck behind Kevin Finn at the moment.
Now he gets around.
That's going to lose him some time.
Yep. Oh, there's a lot of activity going on towards the bus stop just ahead of Peter Short. That is James Duke and Nathan Velez. Not sure if there was contact between the two drivers. I'm not seeing anything significant.
Nathan Velez currently is your leader. I would have to say he's probably going to come down pit road this time. Either way, going to lose the lead pretty quickly here.
Dylan Hickey is on pit road. Otherwise, it's majority of the drivers have make a pit stop already.
And here comes Nathan Velez.
All right, now it's practically...
Oh, Mike Stevens is spun it around just at the entrance to pit road.
Oh, man, he's going to have to drive it backwards to try to get the pit road there.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, a little bit of that looked like a late decision on trying to get on pit road. Almost T-boned the barrels there. Oh, Peter Short's on track!
No!
Oh, no! Oh,
Hard into the barrier!
He was trying to get by lap traffic, and I do believe that was Richard Lafferty he tried passing. He caught the 8 car at the incorrect time. Oh, there was contact between the 8 and the 22.
Oh.
Significant damage on the 22 of Peter Short.
That's probably going to do a lot of suspension damage too. That car's not going to be the same. He's off again. So
what you just see on screen right now, he has no hood.
He's going to keep it on track, but he missed turn 6 just after that, and he's probably going to have to adapt to this car. So here's on board with Cameron Rich. That dot just ahead is Peter Short. Contact with the 8 and sends him off. And Cameron Rich says, "Thank you, I'll take that."
Cameron has some rear end damage somehow.
I don't know where that came from. Maybe he made contact with the lap car, or possibly the guardrail, maybe getting a little too close on exit, but...
Well, realistically, whenever it came around, lap traffic has been a kind of a big story in this race for these leaders.
So here's turn 6, by the way, with Peter Short. Just misses that corner. I'm sure still adjusting to the new handling race car.
Oh, that reminds me of Dale Earnhardt and Marcos Ambrose. But it looks like Peter Short...
He's going to somehow corrals that car into turn 6. Could have been a lot worse.
Man. Well, here's the bad thing right here. Just ahead of him is the car he made contact with.
Yeah. Well, the good thing for Peter, though, is that he already has a bye to the next round, so...
Yep.
And he was only a second slower than Cameron Rich that time by, so obviously that's a pretty big margin, but it could be a lot worse. Oh, and he's going to make contact with Richard Lafferty there. Went into the S's and hit the brakes hard, and showing his displeasure with Richard Lafferty.
I figured someone's going to be brewing up right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he definitely brake checked the number 8.
But I guess realistically, that's probably the cleanest you can do it. Just showing him he's not happy with him.
Yeah, I will agree with that.
Obviously, I mean, you don't want to see drivers making retaliations during a race, but
No, you don't. It can lead, no matter where you are on the racetrack, it can lead a disaster for somebody else. And it's not very professional.
well, I don't want to hand this to Cameron Rich quite yet. It looks like it's going to be pretty good, 9 seconds ahead in the lead, but we know that Cameron can make a few mistakes, and although that last run was clean, I still don't think mistakes out of the 17 are out of the question. Plus, he still has to deal with lap traffic.
He does, but man, looking at lap times right now, man, Cameron Rich is way over a second faster, as Peter Short just had a little bit of a miscue entering the S's, got a little sideways. He has it under control. Not Cameron Rich, excuse me, Peter Short.
Well, Cameron Rich currently closing in on the 87. I guess we're going to have to be watching lap cards a little bit more closely here with the leaders, huh?
Yeah, absolutely, because if you catch a lap car at the wrong time, just like what Peter Short did, because I don't think that was intentional to get in the leader's way like that, but you just catch him at the wrong time. And right there, right at the beginning of the bus stop, I mean, if you're on the lead lap, you're putting your car in one direction, and it gets really narrow in that area, and it's kind of hard not to make contact.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely not a place where you want to deal with lap traffic. And, I mean, Richard Lafferty was already kind of out of the groove as it was, so it kind of just made the whole situation worse. Oh, James Duke around, just exiting the S's there on the back straightaway, with the leaders just going by. That's going to be a tough... All right, he gets it going. I was going to say, that seemed like a pretty tough place to be able to get it going. Oh, man. Almost looks like a Jeff Gordon from, what was it, 2013?
Yeah, and 2009, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe that was out of turn 6.
Yeah,
Turn 5, excuse me, the carousel. But I've noticed in the few laps that I took around the track, that's definitely a place where the car gets really light and wants to spin out, so...
Looks like, who was that? That was like really slow. Oh, Dylan Hickey's got a problem. Hey, Dylan Hickey, who was just running in the top 10, has a major faulty problem.
And he's on pit road. He had to take a tow.
I think he was out of gas.
Yeah. I don't think he had taken a second stop. So, Tanner, I think you're right. I think he ran it dry.
He ran it dry, yeah.
Major.
And with that being said, he is required to take a tow, so he is going to lose valuable positions. Johnny Thomas just got a lap down, but he's still in the top 10. This would put 7 cars left on the lead lap.
With 10 to go, coming around this time.
10-second lead for Cameron Rich. He's still faster than Peter Short. Peter Short has about a 20-second gap over third place, so Peter should come out of here with a second place.
Somehow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're that fast and you have that big of a gap, man, you got a little bit of a leeway. If this was an old track, completely different story.
Luckily, yeah, like you said, luckily he had the insurance time to back him up, so...
Completely agree with the chat here tonight. Lots of carnage in tonight's race. One thing I give a lot of credit to Cameron Rich here right now, Justin, is that he's very smooth right now since he's not feeling the pressure of Peter Short. Yes. So he is much smoother. He's backed off on lap times. He's just kind of running his race. The car has stepped out a couple times. That's just because he's just touching the throttle. And you just pointed out the variables on the portion of the racetrack where the car just gets light. That's the only time I'm seeing Cameron Rich getting really loose as we ride on board right now with Nathan Velez. He's actually just ahead of him. I do believe ahead of him is Paul Ross. This would be a battle for 4th place. Nathan Velez having a whale of a run this evening at Watkins, Glen. Not a playoff driver.
the highest running playoff driver, and trying to steal some spots from those playoffs drivers. And obviously he's been running just about all season. I know he missed a few races, but running pretty solidly right now.
Nathan Velez driving for Rebel Racing. He's teammates with Levi Zielinski over there at Rebel.
Faring a lot better than Levi tonight, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, yeah. I've had the opportunity to drive the 48 car earlier this season, but it wasn't the car, it was the truck. I think that was that Kansas, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, sir. Was in that one as well.
So right here, you see that 48 car, he's just trying to put a little pressure. Man, he got through turn 1 really good. Man, I don't know. It almost looked like he didn't stop, but I promise you, they are using brakes. He's really gaining on that number 18 of Paul Ross here. This has got to give a good confidence booster to Nathan Velez, though. I know he's not a playoff contending driver. He tries every single week when he's out there on the track and driving with the big boys up there in the top 5 at a road course. He's getting it done tonight.
Those two going to get around the 8 of Richard Lafferty.
Oh. The door was almost closed.
Yeah. Once again, probably the worst time.
That was through the carousel of turn 5.
It's a really high-speed portion of the racetrack, too, when you're trying to manage throttle and brake there.
Great corner for the 48 here, man. He's really gaining on that 18, man. I tell you what, I don't know if he's got fresher tires. I'm going to have to look at my information here. He has fresher tires, actually, so that's actually helping out the 48 car. So kudos to Nathan Velez by 2 laps, though. That's a significant difference by what 2 laps does to you.
And also could be a factor of Paul Ross just kind of overusing his stuff, whether it came later in the race or having to use the stuff now, as that got really close in the S's.
This is the closest battle on the racetrack, by the way.
Cameron Rich just coming out of turn 7 to take 7 laps to go, so all by himself.
See if Paul can hang on here. I know it's 4th place and all. We're cursing Paul!
One mistake is all it takes, and now Nathan Velez is going to be right on the bumper.
48, Velez all over now. That back bumper of the 18 of Paul Ross, but has yet to take it anywhere. Paul hoping he doesn't make another mistake again. That was through turn 5 of the carousel. Looked like the car got really light when he entered the carousel, though. So far, Paul's going to hang on to the 4th position. Cameron Rich has gained another second on Peter Short, about 11.5 seconds.
Going to be right on the bumper through the S's here. This could be pretty interesting coming to the bus stop.
Man,
I don't think he's close enough, but
there's a portion of the racetrack Nathan Velez is faster. And then there's a portion of the racetrack that Paul Ross is faster. I think I think it's really benefiting Velez through turn 1 and the S's.
Yeah, definitely. Just looking at it through the carousel there. It was about even that time. Last time, Nathan Velez didn't have too good of a turn 6. Got a little bit wide and kind of missed the apex. But he gets through it that time. And turn 7 is going to be pretty important here because it's going to give you a long run into turn 1 here. Looked like Paul got off it a little better.
Just a little better here, but here's the money corner right here for Velez. He's been hitting it all night long. He gained on Paul there, but again, he does not have anywhere to go to take it, really. He's still got a little of a gap right there to get to that back bumper.
Losing a little bit through the S's there. See if he can't gain anything back on this long back straightaway. Just about even.
Just about even indeed. We were all right on board the back on the roof cam here of the 18 of Ross. Looking back at Nathan Velez.
Cameron Rich just to the line. 5 laps to go here tonight.
5 laps remaining here at Watkins Glen.
Oh, you saw there, Nathan Velez really backed up the corner there, got a good shot off. He's going to make the pass in turn 7. Paul Ross gave him a lot of room, making sure there wasn't any contact on exit there.
I do believe Paul knew he was coming, man. It was just a matter of how long can I hang on to this. It
was just a fantastic entry into turn 6, backed it up a little bit, got a good exit off there, and had the momentum into the little short shoot there. And luckily he was given room. He actually got loose off turn 7 there.
All right, so that'll put Nathan Velez up there in the 4th position for Rebel Racing. He's kind of the meat in the sandwich right now, because just ahead of him would be a position for another 3OG driver, Luis Almaso. But that's go ahead.
I was going to say, Luis just had to deal with James Duke in the worst possible position through the bus stop there. It was about side by side. Yeah, you can see it there.
Yeah. It's about the same portions of the track that Peter Short had an issue.
Oh my goodness, wow. James Duke really taking it conservative through that bus stop.
Cameron Rich has put about 3 seconds now on Peter Short, with just about 3 laps to go right now. Well, that was the biggest battle on track that was between Paul Ross and Nathan Velez. Kind of just scrolling through the field here. If there's any other battling going on, I'm not currently seeing anything. Everybody's kind of just spread out all over the place. There is a 6-lap rule here, so Richard Lafferty, if he goes down another lap, he'll have to take it behind the garage. If you go down 6 laps, you're done.
And unfortunately for some of these playoff drivers, Dylan Hickey will finish, it looks like, 15th here tonight. He was on the bubble, down by 6 entering the night. Matt Hackthorne will finish 18th tonight. He was 10 to the good coming in. And, of course, Levi Zielinski will finish 21st here tonight. He's the one who's going to take the biggest hit. Was already 9 down to begin tonight with a bad run at Milwaukee. It's gone from bad to worse here tonight. It's going to be a tough road for him at Dover.
He's gonna be about at least close to 20 points off the cutoff line, so that's practically gonna be a must-win situation. Nonetheless, let's see here. Well, I tell you what, Cameron Rich has taken the 2 to go mark. He is coming off. I'm trying to figure out what turn that is. That would be, he's actually going into turn 6 right now. Getting ready to take the white flag.
Oh, 2 to go.
2 to go.
He's gonna take
3 to go. Yeah, I'm sorry. I take that back.
Oh my goodness.
I'm thinking 50 laps tonight, but there's 51 laps tonight. There's that extra lap.
Our own Marty Reed, folks.
Yeah. Well, Paul Ross asked me, like, hey man, how long is this race? And I actually thought it was like 50 laps, but then I had to look and then it said 51 laps. So I actually made 2 mistakes tonight on that.
Well, just want to give a quick shout out to Johnny Thomas at the moment running 8th. He's going to have a pretty good run here tonight, considering that all the drivers around him in the playoff. Yeah, we're seeing in the chat now it's 11 laps tonight for parking drivers.
Yeah, Justin, you know we got a guy in the production truck who's supposed to keep us updated on this stuff.
Yeah, what the heck, Carlos?
His name's Carlos Acosta, who wrecks people like Kentucky.
And wrecks people for the championship at Homestead. Nonetheless, Cam Rich gonna come around here. The guy who was taken out at Homestead a couple of years ago, he's gonna come around and take the white flag here. Oh, okay. He had a little bit of a blink, I saw.
Don't blink out now.
Yeah. Maybe that was on my end. I don't.
Well, I tell you what, he finished 2nd place back at Road America earlier this season, and he is gonna. And if he wins here tonight, which more than likely he will notch up his 7th victory in the Race King Cup Series of this season, and this will guarantee a spot into round 2, which begins at Talladega in 2 weeks' time.
I'm sure a bunch of these guys are wishing they had buys just out of Talladega at this point, but through the carousel for the final time, he's just got to make 2 more corners. Oh, Got the rumble strips there a little wrong.
Yep. There goes Cameron Rich down into turn number 6. Then he'll hit turn 7 here, the final corner. Cameron Rich advances to round number 2, or advances to round 3 of the RaceKings Cup Series playoffs. Or round number 2, I'm sorry. I got my rounds all mixed up, but either way, Cameron Rich notches up his 7th win on the season. So Cameron does not have to worry about Dover, but he will have to worry about Talladega, which I'm sure everybody's really going to worry about. And how about Peter Short? He's going to come home with 2nd place. Thankfully, he had a big gap, that's for sure.
Yes.
When prior to crashing, and Luis Salmaso looks like he's going to take home actually, Nathan Velez is right on that back bumper there, but he's not going to get him in time. Velez has caught Salmaso for 3rd, but not enough. Salmaso 3rd, Velez 4th. Paul Ross is going to finish in 5th.
Kevin Finn going to take home the 6th spot, and comes Sam Close. Quite a rebound for Sam Close after going back to 14th. He's going to finish 7th here tonight.
Absolutely. Last driver on the lead lap, that was Sam Close. That was an action-packed road course race. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Usually road course is not a lot. Well, I mean, I take that back. A lot does go on in a road course, but tonight a lot. And I mean a lot went on as far as on-track and pit roads concerned. So with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and pull up our interview guys. Oh, we're going to take a mini break? Okay, sounds good. So we're going to take a little bit of a mini break here, and don't go away because we're going to talk to the top 3 drivers of this event. And welcome back to Watkins Glen International, where we just seen a pretty good finish, but an action-packed road course event for Race 2 of the 2018 Three-Wide Racing League's Race King Cup Series playoffs at the Glen here. And we're going to bring up the top 3 finishers. First off, let's talk to our race winner down in Victory Lane, Mr. Cameron Rich. I got to find him here. Pull Mr. Cameron up, if my drag thing can work here. Hold on. Is anybody able to pull up Cameron? Because I can't pull him up. Alright. Cameron Rich is, you got a copy?
Yeah, what's up?
Hey man, it looked like your teammate there was definitely pressuring you, and I mean rightfully so. He's out there doing his job, but looked like after he had his incident in the bus stop, you looked like you had a little bit of a leeway, and most certainly you did. And you capture your 7th victory of the season, and you advance to round number 2 into the playoffs. Tell me about your race, man. It seemed like a pretty busy night for you, despite leading a lot of laps here tonight.
Yeah, can't really say that I earned it totally on merit. I had a lot of good luck behind me. What happened to Peter is a shame. I didn't see what happened, but I saw his car after the race, and he didn't have a hood, and, you know, when you see the engine, that's usually not a good sign. So how the hell he was as quick as he was after that was I don't want to know. It's some witchcraft or something. But yeah, it was a pretty fun race. The pace was really fast. You know, we had the track conditions. The cloudy, cold weather. Pretty much all qualifying laps all night. So it's me and Peter were just driving as hard as we could and running off the track every other corner, and just trying to get everything out of the car. And he was definitely quicker than me. I knew that for a fact. I looked at the intervals and I was getting really depressed there because it would go from like 4 to 3 to 2. And it's like, oh, what do I got to do to go faster, man? But a little bit of good luck there.
Talk about the miscues on pit road here tonight, Cameron, because we did see that under the first pit stop, and we were kind of hoping that didn't happen again for you, and most certainly it did not. It was much smoother and cleaner pit stop that you had on the second go around. But talk to me about the first time when you were coming down pit road there.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I did the same thing I did at Road America, and I got in my pit stall, and I'm like, what the hell? Like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I can't pit or something. I guess just that right pit wall. I'm so used to we pulling to the left all the time, but that right side pit wall, I don't know. I'm pretty stupid with that, so I'm glad I was able to get it right the second time at least. But geez, it's pretty embarrassing.
Well, it's practically going to be all forgotten now because you do win Watkins Glen here. You advanced to round 2 in the playoffs. I got 2 more questions for you, and then we're going to let you go celebrate. My first question out of this is, it seemed like the car was getting very light at times, especially on entrance. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, with the weather, how it was, the car was pretty tight, except sometimes it would get really loose. So, especially out of the last corner, I got loose a lot out of there, and sometimes you had to push it so hard through the carousel that you would just push out to the grass, and I did that a couple of times. Like to help whoever owns this track with their lawn mowing, and sorry, I have a short attention span. What was your second question?
I didn't ask the second question yet, but I was just gonna get to that. Now you don't really got to worry about Dover anymore. Realistically, you just go out there and just have a good time. But you're not locked in for the championship, however, because you still got to go through round 2, which begins at Talladega, which could be anybody's race. And with the new iRacing build, they did tamper with the draft package. I don't know what it's like. I had not tried it with the Cup car, but they did tamper with the draft package just a little bit. A lot of unknowns going to Talladega. How are you going to feel about that second round? Because it seems like there's a lot of unknowns there.
Can you ask that again? No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, Talladega's always a crapshoot. I hope the package is good. I've been pretty vocal about my disdain for the last package. I just don't like how we can't draft with it very well. There's definitely a lot of skill involved, but just God, I hope it's good. As far as Dover goes, that's probably my favorite track in iRacing. So I really want to go out there and win that. If this damn hurricane out here wants to stay away or not, hit me too hard, I don't know how that's going to go, but, kind of praying for good things there. But definitely Dover, awesome. I love Dover.
All right. Well, Cameron, I'm going to let you go and get you to celebrate with your team. And Peter, I'm sure you guys will be talking a lot about here and moving on to next week at Dover. So congratulations on the win here tonight, and we will see you in Dover.
Thanks, Tanner. You guys have a good night.
That was Cameron Rich winning the race here tonight at Watkins Glen. Let's go to his teammate, Peter Short. Justin, you've caught up with Peter.
Yes, sir. Peter Short, you got a copy?
10-4.
Well, it was a pretty hard-fought race between the two Eisentech teammates, you and Cameron Rich. Unfortunately, a little miscue in the bus stop kind of put an end to that and kind of secured Cameron the win there. Before we talk about that, though, it seemed like in some places you were better than Cameron, and later into the run it seemed like he started making more mistakes.
Yeah, the number 22 Mike's Hard Lemonade modified is pretty good tonight. We had a lot of fun duking it out there in the first 35 laps of the race or so. Just, a lot of fun. It was just like last year at the Glen. It was just Cameron and I going lap after lap, just kind of trading fast laps and Man, I was really, really, really enjoying it. It was a really great opportunity that I had. I kind of just caught him, and I was like, well, I'm going to try for the undercut, and pulled in, I think, a lap before him, got the lead, and I was like, all right, maybe I'll lose it again like I did last year, but hopefully not. And it just so happened that it wasn't my night.
Yeah, very unfortunate there. Saw you two make a few mistakes, I guess, mainly in the bus stop. Would you say that may have been the hardest corner of the night?
Yeah, the bus stop was one of those. It is such a tough corner. You're traveling 184 miles an hour into a braking zone. These cup cars don't like to slow down. It's really easy to get the rear tires or skipping, and this car just wants to carry. It's got so much momentum, and that was the problem with Lafferty. When we got together, I just had all this momentum. I saw he ran wide. I thought he was probably going to let me by, but unfortunately, I was already committed to the corner. I was already committed to the apex at that point. These cup cars, you have to commit them to the apex so early, especially in that one corner. So it was, definitely the bus stop was tricky tonight. It made for a really interesting time every time he went through there. Just hitting the bumps just right. I felt like the car had some shocks that were not quite right, and the car could get really jumpy and bouncy if you didn't hit the curbing right through the bus stop, which just made it a little bit more tricky. So, it was fun.
Well, the one question I do have for you, we obviously saw the incident. I'm sure you'd want to forget about it. How badly did that affect the car at all, if any? We saw you go off in turn 6 just after that. I'm not sure if that was just a trying to get used to maybe how the car handled after that.
Yeah, the car was pretty broke. I'm really glad that Watkins Glen is a clockwise circuit, because it could turn right pretty well. It could not turn left. It made the bus stop really tricky. It made turn 6 really, really tricky. But those are pretty much the only two left-handers on the whole track. So I kind of got lucky in that respect. But I was also leaning a little bit down the straightaway one way. So it made for an adjustment. It took me about 2 or 3 laps to adjust, and after that, our pace wasn't terrible. It was about a half second to a second slower than Cameron a lap, but relative to the rest of the field, it was still pretty good.
Yeah, I think that's the most impressive part. The fact that you finished second, but more importantly, the fact that you were able to keep pretty good pace with the 17. Obviously, you were still losing, but the pace was still there. That's what impressed me the most. And, you already advanced last week by virtue of winning Milwaukee, so you go into Dover basically just set for the second round, but we'll talk about Dover a little bit, your feelings going into there.
I love Dover. It's one of those tracks where I think driver talent comes out. The car typically tends to get loose on the long run. If it's not loose at the beginning of the run, you're definitely going to get pushed loose at the end of the run, most likely. So it should be a lot of fun. I won Dover last year, I believe, in the number 33 Southwest Ford back then, and I'm hoping to repeat next week.
Yes, sir. Well, before we let you go, anybody you have to thank, friends, family, or sponsors, or anybody?
I just want to thank Eisentech teammates for racing me clean. We all have a lot of fun with each other and enjoy the time we get to spend with each other every week. Corey Lindsay, really him becoming the outer race admin is pretty awesome, and I've got to say thank you for that. You guys for doing an awesome broadcast. I'll listen to it tomorrow, and I'm sure I'll really enjoy it. So thank you guys for all the time and effort that you put into it, and we'll see you guys next week.
Yes, sir. Once again, very impressive that Peter Short, with all the damage, comes home and finishes second here. Peter, we wish you the best of luck at Dover.
Thank you, gentlemen.
All right.
I believe, Tanner, you've caught up with Luis Almaso.
I've caught up with Luis Almaso, who's had a pretty good day. I can't really call it a bad day there, Luis. You started 10th here today. A little bit of a miscue on your qualifying lap, despite being really fast in practice. Tell me about your day.
They almost went down the drain in the very first lap. So all of a sudden, yeah, we're coming up the S's after the first turn, and then all of a sudden I see David Wilson like completely like sideways stuck to the fence, and I hit him full blast coming up the S's. So I thought my car was going to be done right then and there. I had no speed on the straights, couldn't pass a fly even if I wanted to. So
well,
yeah.
So how did you? So with that being said, how did you make? Like I said, you started from 10th position here today. How did you make all them positions up all the way to 3rd?
Going completely kamikaze on every break, trying to break as late as I could, trying to get a little bit of a time. And because I had a little bit less power, it helped me a tiny bit on the exit of the turns and the middle of the turns because I wasn't as fast, so I could get back to the gas earlier. So it was, all right, how far can I push in the turns without completely going bananas in the middle of it? But every time I was close to someone, like I was close behind Chuck, couldn't do anything because every time we got to the straight, he would pull away. He made a mistake. I was stuck behind Nathan. Same thing. Like in the turns, I was like right behind and then got to the straights, he would pull away. He let me go for some reason. I was stuck behind Kevin, the same thing. So the entire race was something like that all the time. And after the second pit stop around lap 34, my temperatures, because of that thing, because of the left front damage that I had, started to climb up. So the entire like 15 lap run at the end after the pit stop, I was having to look at my temps, and I crossed the line at the end with 278 on my water. So the car was ready to explode.
Well, I'm glad it did not explode because it would have cost you a good finish and maybe valuable points, but you did gain valuable points here. You were 16 points ahead of that cutoff line of the playoffs. This should give you a little bit of more of a comfortable gap entering Dover and as well as entering the second round. When is this win coming, man? You had a lot of third place finishes. This is your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 consecutive top 10 finish since Daytona. Daytona was the last race you finished outside the top 10. This win's got to be coming soon, man. What do you think?
I knew it was not going to be in last race. It was not going to be on this one. So my plan was to try to salvage 2 top 5s, and that's what we did. So right on cue, right on the plan. So hopefully over the next couple of races, when we go back to normal racing the ovals, things are going to be better or easier, maybe, for that thing to happen. Had a pretty good race at Dover last year. Wasn't the fastest car on the track on a single lap, but managed to stick around in the front during the entire race. And if it wasn't for a little miscue on a late restart and old tires with 2 to go, I almost had a win last year. So it's a track that it's always fun to drive. Not my favorite track, but it's always pretty good racing coming out of that thing. And then we go back to normal type of tracks that we're used to running. So no more crazy road courses, no more putting these cars in tracks that they normally don't run, that we always have to figure out how to make these behemoths go around a turn. So hopefully coming back to regular tracks, everybody gets a little bit more used to, but evens it up, I think. So if we keep doing what we're doing, it just statistics. Eventually, is going to be our number. So,
well, how do you feel about Dover?
I like it. It's a track that you cannot go balls to the walls too fast because you're going to destroy your right front tire no matter what you do. So 20 laps into the run, you're going to be going straight in one of those turns. And it's one of those tracks that if you don't respect the track, it will bite you. And there's no room for error. Like, there's walls on both sides. It's too close. You cannot make a mistake. Otherwise, you're going to be hitting that outside wall, mostly on the exit of 4, that thing comes up out of nowhere. If you keep your car under control and you know where to be aggressive, you have a chance to finish in a pretty good position. So just try not to make a mistake. Try not to be caught a lap down on pit cycles that tend to happen if you're not in the right place, in the right position. So if you do all those things, if you play it almost safe, you have a pretty good chance of being at the end fighting for a really good position. So we'll see.
All right, Luis. Well, thank you for taking the time to talk with us this evening. Congratulations on the podium finish of a third place here tonight. Solid run, solid points night for you. Best of luck at Dover, and looks like you'll more than likely, if you have a good clean race at Dover, you'll make it to round 2. So best of luck to you in upcoming races.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for putting up the broadcast. It's always a blast to go back and watch, see all the mistakes we made. Just want to give a pretty big shout out to everybody at 3OG that finished in top 10. So all 3 cars in top 7 actually. Sam made it back from that mistake in the early in the race. So give a pretty shout out to Rusty, who couldn't race tonight. So pretty sure he's going to be watching. Thanks to WCR for helping us out with the setups and teaching us how to go around this place during the week. And everybody at Jaws Graphics for trying to put these new Camaros in really good paint schemes. So see you guys next race. Thanks again.
That was Luis Salmasso finishing in the 3rd position here tonight for 3OG Racing. And Justin, I do believe it is time to wrap it up for this evening's festivities here. So let's go ahead and take it to our unofficial race results. Cameron Rich started on the Drive for Suicide Prevention Pole Award tonight, and he wins the race. Peter Short finishes in 2nd after starting in 2nd, but he still had a good battle with Cameron throughout the race. Luis Salmasso started from 10th, finishes in 3rd. Nathan Velez had a very good night here tonight at the Glen. He'll finish in 4th. Paul Ross finishes in 5th. Kevin Finn had a quiet night, finishes in 6th. Sam Close finishes in 7th, the last car on the lead lap. Johnny Thomas finishes in 8th, 1 lap down. Chuck Sweeting in 9th, and rounding out the top 10, Richard Hines.
Chad Brown going to finish 11th here tonight. A good solid night for him in points as well. James Duke going to finish 12th tonight. Mike Stevens 13th. Richard Lafferty going to finish 14th. Dylan Hickey 15th. He'll probably have some work to do as we go into Dover. Dick Miller 16th. Tate Lytle 17th. Matt Hackathorn 18th. This is going to be a pretty big blow to him in terms of points as we go into the final race of round 1. Race Clark will finish 19th here tonight, and Jordan Teal will round out the top 20.
Levi Zielinski finishes blackjack position. Is practically a must-win scenario for him at Dover in order to advance to round 2. He finishes 21st. And David Wilson finishes 22nd here tonight, the last driver here tonight. And Corey Lindsay, who was actually up in the officials booth, not racing tonight's event. Got a couple of sponsors to give a little bit of a shout-out here. First and foremost, the series sponsor, RaceKings. Thank you very much for sponsoring our Cup Series here in the 3-Wide Racing League, and as well as the Drive for Suicide Prevention Pole Award. They sponsor the polls each and every single week, and I do believe, Justin, you have the track cams.
Yes, sir. Tonight's cameras, which were amazing, by the way, were provided by Track Cams for Gourmet. You can find more information or download the pack at www.trackcams22.com or facebook.com/trackcams. And one more thanks to Thomas Morris from OCR TV for the graphics package you saw here tonight.
And thank you to the league organizers for putting on the racing league here on the 3-Wide Racing League. Thanks to the drivers for putting on such a great show. Thanks to the team tonight, Justin and Carlos, for the magnificent job they do every single week. And please join us next week for the final round of round number 1, which will take place in Dover, Delaware. Actually, is it next week? Yep, it's next week, September 17th, 2018, for 200 laps, the last race of round 1. And then we move on to round 2, which is at Talladega on September 24th. But Dover's next week. We got to get through Dover first. Some drivers need a win, and some drivers are just going to play it comfortable and safe. So please sure to join us next week at Dover. I'm Tanner Sharp. That's Justin Kolb and Carlos in the production truck. We'll see you in Dover next week.